My name is Umusu, and I was the animation supervisor on Malika project.
My name is Nurdin Momodu, and I'm an animator. I was an animator on the Malika project.
Our guest has arrived. My queen, I present to you King Vas of Atala. Queen Malika, the great unifier, legendary commander. You have honored Atala by inviting her king, and I am personally grateful to be in your presence.
I see the rumors about your flattery are true.
I think most of the inspiration came from the comic book. I think the creator Roye Okupe did a very good job, taking inspiration from many years of from northern Nigeria, history from northern Nigeria. So I think that's where most of the inspiration came from for Malika.
The inspiration comes from the comic, because the Malika film is actually an adaptation of a comic book, and we like the book. I've always liked comic books. I originally wanted to become a comic artist, but I used to draw, but I kind of shifted, in what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be in the animation space, the media space. I really didn't give a damn if it was like stop motion or whatever I was doing. But 3D was the one that pulled me the most, and I ended up doing 3D. So inspiration wise, it was actually the comic books. We were adapting.
This project took took a year, a very long time for 15 minutes, but that just shows you how hard, it is to get something like this done.
Raz!
There was a total of 6 animators on the Malika project. Generally, there were 10 of us. There was a concept artist, a character modeler, and two prop modelers as well. What makes Malika different is the fact that we were going for something that was relatively new to Nigeria, which is the epic, grand kind of thing, which you usually would see with like Hollywood and other parts of the world, but not necessarily with Nigeria. It was dialogue heavy, and it was the first for us to actually do something that's heavy on dialogue.
One of the most important things that makes Malika different is storytelling and dialogues. We had more dialogues. It was really a story-driven film. I think that's what makes it different from every other one.
My concern right now is with quelling this rebellion, not making my province chiefs feel useful.
Perhaps we would not have problems with the rebels if my queen did not aid the kingdom of Atala in their war.
I think the biggest challenge we had with working Malika was the technical sides, trying to get realistic hair, cloth simulation, rendering. Those parts were really, really challenging. Also, a little bit of the animation, because we're trying to push what was possible in Nigeria. So I'll say we're going for like extra level of detail, and also the time frame. We didn't have a lot of time to put into the project, but we did our best.
Everything has its own challenge, and we had to treat everything differently. So, they all had their challenges. I wouldn't necessarily say anyone was more challenging than the other. Everyone can testify. Everyone who animated and worked on it can testify to that.
I challenge you to single combat. You win, you are king.
Select your champion, my queen.
I think we had a fantastic storyboard artist on the project, Ife Sinachi, helped us storyboard some part of the project, but Eri is really, really very good in animating fight scenes. So based off that and his own experience in animating fight, he was able to come up with some very, very, very exciting animation fighting skills. Yeah. But I didn't animate any of the fight parts. I focused more on the performance because for animation, we always try to, just like the way you cast actors to roles, that's the way you cast animators to shots.
I animated one scene in the whole uh, one scene, which was the last fight scene between uh, Malika and King Bass. That was the only scene I animated, so I enjoyed animating that scene because it gave me, it allowed me to do something different with the fight scene that I really haven't done before. So I enjoyed that part.
The part for me that I enjoyed the most was actually writing the story, because to me that's just the time where I can take as much time as possible to craft this idea, visualize all the scenery in my mind and put all the ideas that I have down. And, just, from that early stage, because it's so raw, it's very new, it's very fresh. Anything can happen at that point in time.
My most exciting part was animating Dogbari. I really loved when I first heard the voiceover. I was like, I think Femi Brand did a great job, and I just wanted to bring the character to life with his voice. So the most exciting part was actually animating Dogbari.
Why are you here, Dogbari?
Very well. The Council of Five was assembled so that each of the 5 provinces will have a voice in the matters of Azaz.
Malika wasn't, yeah, it wasn't actually completely Nigerian because when you look at Nigerian castles, Nigerian uh, palaces, you don't, they are really not like that. The throne room, the throne seat, the chair was not like, you don't really see them that way. We chose to do it that way because we were aiming for a wider audience than just, Nigerians. And who's to say our epics need to be completely true to what they were. We, in order to create larger worlds and larger, make our stories larger than life, we have to kind of modify it, to be bigger than what we see. And it's not a crime. Hollywood does it. Every other, film industry does it.
One thing I'll say though is that when people say it's not African enough, I get a little bit confused as to that comment. Let's take the throne room for example. Of course, there's a lot of elements that are fantastical about this story. This isn't this isn't a throne room that existed that you can go to and visit, but it's not also far off from what if you go into the history, West African history, or even like history of Hausa people and everything like that, you will see elements of that in every single scene.
Getting Malika to look consistently the same wasn't really a challenge. It was quite easy actually because everybody in the studio had been animating for close to 2 years together, and if not more than 2 years. So we understand the way we animate, and when a character is portrayed a certain way, every animator knows to portray that character that same way. So we study what the initial animation, the first animation in the whole project. We study that animation and say, okay, this is what this character is, and then we animate based off that, so that the characters stay consistent throughout. There was a scene, the throne room scene, that we had about, so we had 3 animators animate that scene. So the first 2 minutes was animated by Nurdin, Momodu, and the others were animated by other animators. And you don't really feel the break in the scene because after the initial first 2 minutes, the other animators studied what he did and based their characterization of that. So
I am my champion.
well, the biggest challenge was the scale we decided to go for. A lot of what we did in Malika was the first for us. We found ourselves battling things like cloth simulation, hair simulation, rendering the hair, rendering cloth, simulating them, putting everything into one shot, doing the effects, fire, volumetrics. We basically put everything in there, and it was a real headache, getting everything into one scene. But as we did it, we learned, and we ended up with what we had.
But I'm very proud of the team. Proud of everyone that worked on it. Both the people in Antio and everyone from the Unique Studios and that worked on it as well. And then also, I can't end this without thanking the actors because their voice just took things to another level. This was performance was excellent. So was Femi Branch, DME, Sambasa, and Blossom. These people came with their A game, and they just blew it out of the water. And you can tell from the animation. It doesn't only look good; it sounds good, as well too. So it's a privilege to be able to be the director on something like this because I'm surrounded by so many talented people, and we can't wait to bring you more.